We now welcome in the host of Giants pre- and post-game shows, former Giant, former Super Bowl champion, Jonathan Casillas. Jonathan, we've been talking about Bill Belichick potentially to the Giants. You played for Bill Belichick. I'm not trying to disparage Brian Daboll. Both BT and I are fans of Daboll. But if the opportunity presented itself and you were the Giants, would you inquire about bringing in Bill Belichick to take over as head coach?
Hold on, wait. We're starting this conversation, put Bill Belichick in MetLife at Quest Diagnostics for the New York Giants. Guys, what are we doing here? What are we doing? We put that much pressure on Mara. We doing that early on in this call? Wow, guys.
It's a tough one,
wow.
Right?
I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it is Belichick. And how about this idea, Jonathan, that Belichick, he didn't win anything without Tom Brady. You played for the guy. What do you think of Bill Belichick?
Well, to be fair, I was only there half a season. I didn't get the camp side of him, the in-your-face. I got the winning side of him, Super Bowl win side of him. That's what I got. So I got the positives mostly. But look, at the end of the day, he had Tom Brady, right? So it's not if the Patriot way is still there. The Patriot way doesn't exist without Tom Brady.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And if you look around, and you guys cover the Jets, you guys cover the Giants, the common scenario with both teams, they got all their differences, but the common scenario is the quarterback play, right? The Jets were affected four plays into the season. The Giants were affected several times, several games. I mean, 3 games where their starting quarterback got hurt. Now they ended up with Tommy DeVito. I don't care who the head coach is. You got Tommy DeVito, and I love the guy. I'm a Jersey guy, so I'm cheering for him every single week. I think he's living out his dreams. But guys, come on, this is hard, guys. Like, think about what the Giants were doing, right? And I got a lot of respect for Daniel Jones. I think he's one of the toughest guys in the NFL. And also Tyrod Taylor, his story and what he's been through. Bro, the Giants weren't scoring points with neither one of those guys besides 4 quarters. So it's not just a head coach fix. It's a lot deeper than that. I think what they have right now is a team that's realizing they're bad. I think after that Jets game, they started to realize that they were bad, and then now it's evident, and then you get rid of Leonard Williams. That affected, I think, not just the play, but the locker room a little bit too, because he's that leader there that it could be a buffer between the coaches and the players, and that's not really replicated that easy as playing on the field. But as we can see, it was a huge loss because they've been not good defensively since he left. So it's a lot of things going on right now, guys. There's nothing that's going to salvage the season besides executing football, like playing good football and executing. We're not talking about no playoffs. We're not talking about breaking 500. We're not talking about none of that.
No.
We're talking about salvaging something out of this season to have something moving forward to look forward to for 2024.
Yeah, I use the word stabilize. And by the way, that's Jonathan Casillas with us here on the Fan, BT and Sal. Of course, Jonathan, part of the Giants broadcast team here on the Fan. Now, I'm a massive Daboll fan. So is Sal. We just hit you with the question because that's what we've talked about a lot of the show here. I would not do it, okay? I understand that some Giant fans would say, it's Belichick. You got to at least investigate. That's fine. Everybody's got their opinion. But my opinion is this here. I think that Daboll's a great asset. I thought what he did a year ago was so incredibly uplifting and special. But there is an expiration point on that if it continues to look this bad. I'm not saying firing him. I'm rolling with Daboll no matter what. But next year. But when you lose 40-0, 49-17, 30-6, I guess my question, Jonathan, is how much of last year's specialness is gone because this year's been so inept?
All of it. All of it's gone. I think it was gone week 1, that Sunday night game against Dallas. I think that was like the realization, like, okay, this is not a team that has ascended, because that's what we all thought was going to happen after last year. Daniel Jones he's the quarterback of the future. They secured Saquon Barkley, brought in Waller, drafted John Michael Smith. They kept pieces in. They signed Andrew Thomas long term. Like, it was supposed to be an ascension, and the gap closer between Dallas and possibly Philadelphia. Dallas showed us week 1 that no, that's not the case. That happened this year. So for me is, guys, like, they did buy themselves some time winning last year and overachieving. But then it also put them in a precarious situation because you had to sign Daniel Jones because how he played last year.
Yep.
And I think and it's sad to say this, but I think last year might have been an anomaly on Daniel Jones' career given the injuries that have consistently been there. Not his play. I think his play will improve if he consistently stays healthy. Even this year, I think it would have got better if he would have stayed healthy. But he has an ACL, yes, but what about his neck? You know, he was missing time because of his neck. He came back, hurt his ACL. I have no issue that his ACL will be fine. You know, he may have to figure out how to play, but there's a concern. You know, Van Der Esch, he just like shut it down for the season because of his neck. He's probably going to retire.
So
guys, this is why I retired.
Dallas.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I hope I'm not putting that on. I'm knocking on wood right now because that's one thing I don't play about is injuries with these players because they put in so much, but that is the truth that the Giants have to address this offseason. And I didn't want to believe it after last, and then I started thinking about it, and basically based on Daniel Jones' history, you can't really guarantee him coming back off this injury and then, the neck is being fine.
No, you're right.
There's a lot of things that go into it.
You're right. And this is why I think it's very interesting. Again, that's Jonathan Casillas with us here on the Fan, BT and Sal, John's broadcast team. All right, so because of the neck, less about the ACL, the neck, and it's the second time he's gotten hurt, and the finances, incorporating everything. Let's say the Giants have the first, second, or third overall pick, which I think we all think that they probably will. And they like the quarterbacks available, but don't love them. Do you take somebody you like, or do you trade out and then just add to a roster that obviously needs a lot of talent all across the board? How do you play this at the draft?
Yeah, I think if they got the first three, they got to love one of those quarterbacks because, I mean, they're going to get a good guy because I know that the quarterback, especially the top end of the quarterbacks coming out this year is pretty good. And if the Giants can land in the top three, which I hope they don't, but I hope they do at the same time, it's a win-lose, bittersweet, whatever you want to call it situation. But I think you have to go quarterback, and then also, like, you bring him in, right? And Daniel Jones, let's say he is healthy to go. Wouldn't you have Daniel Jones competing against this young quarterback, right, talented quarterback, and whoever is the best man wins? Because I think the best man from Daniel Jones' aspect would be the 2022 Daniel Jones, and I will take that Daniel Jones. If not, you got this young kid. It's a whole new focus of energy. You know, the Giants haven't really drafted quarterbacks, you know, and now there's another story, and now they bought themselves another year in terms of Daboll and Joe Shane, at least a year, maybe even 2 years by drafting a quarterback. So there's a lot of, I think, positives that go into actually drafting a quarterback, even though you just signed Daniel Jones, but everybody just saw him tear his ACL, and everybody just saw him being knocked out because of a neck, which is a reoccurring injury. So all of those things considered, I think you have to go quarterback, but don't give him the job. Hopefully Daniel Jones is healthy and let him compete. Because if Daniel Jones can do what he did in 2022, the Giants will have success next year. And if he can't, the young kid can beat him out. The guys done bought themselves some time. I think that's how they got to play it.
Can the defense, Jonathan? It's BT and Sal talking with Jonathan Casillas. He is a part of the Giants game day coverage here, pre- and post-game shows on the Fan. Can the Giants defense at least keep them competitive? Forget about wins or losses at this point. It's not about that. But I think the defense has been disappointing. Early on in the season was certainly disappointing. Then it got better, but it's been inconsistent overall. Can this defense at least make this team competitive at an NFL level the rest of the way?
Well, the defense has to do it. If the defense goes out and plays like it did the last 2 weeks against Dallas and Las Vegas, the Giants won't win another game. You know, and then they got guys going down, which is kind of how it happened. That's how it's been all season. They struggled in games and then they lose key players. That's what's been happening almost every single week. And the Giants defense has to keep them afloat. And look, I got really high on the defense because I saw Dexter Lawrence last year be one of the best, if not the best, interior defensive linemen. And whenever he's in the game, he's dominant. And when he has dominant games, the Giants have a lot of success. They don't always equal in wins. You can look at the Bills game. You can look at the Jets game where he was completely dominant. And they still didn't get wins living into the team to 14 and 13 points. But at least they kept it respectable. You know, they kept it competitive. And that's what you haven't been seeing out of the Giants basically for the entire season, minus 2 or 3 games here and there, but they only equated to 2 wins. The Giants need to play competitive football, and it's led by not only their defense, but Dexter Lawrence. He's the best player on the field whenever he's on the field. What he did to the Commanders last time, I don't think he can replicate again because it was like a flawless victory. He destroyed them by himself, and that's why they only scored 7 points. So I don't know if that can get replicated again. I think Commanders have improved, but the Giants have their hands filled, and it's up to their defense to slow it down before stuff really starts getting ugly and people start paying attention a lot more than just what's happening on the sidelines.
Yeah, it's been ugly with the Giants, no doubt about it, Jonathan, and we appreciate your time again this week. And, as we're getting to know you here as a guest on our show, regular guest, hopefully it can continue here moving forward. Maybe the Giants could use some block punts the way you had one against Minnesota, an all-time Wisconsin moment. You ever have to pay for a drink in Madison anytime you're back there?
I haven't been back, but, man, I'll tell you what, man, Madison's a special place, man. They definitely made me feel like a superhero for a few years after that block punt, man. That was a great man. That was a great play. I was young, man. I was like 18, and that was such a big play, man. Such a great thing for the University of Wisconsin. Man, I got to make my way back there, guys. Thanks for giving me that reminiscent moment.
Dude? Yeah, come on, you're a household name amongst Badger fans. You're a household name, a legendary play with that block punt against Minnesota.
Yeah, man. I got to get back there, guys. Thanks for keeping that fresh in my head. I got to get back to Camp Randall and watch one of those Badger games, dog, for real.
Yeah, and by the way, thanks for proving my point that Belichick without Tom Brady is not the greatest coach of all time because Sal's been screaming for 3 hours that he would be the best no matter what.
I think we got a bad line. I got to let you go, Jonathan.
Thank you, pal.
We'll talk to you again.
Before I leave.
No, that's it. No.
Especially how football is being played now, you have to have a quarterback. Like there's no more Baltimore Ravens, whatever, 2000, 2001, where you have a decent quarterback, you have a great defense and solid run game. No, you must have a good quarterback, at least a good quarterback, possibly a great quarterback to actually be good and make it competitive week in and week out because these offenses have gotten too good, these pass rushers are too good, these DBs are too good, and you have to have a capable quarterback. And as of right now, the Giants, the injuries, and then also over there in New England, they really don't have a real quarterback, like a good quarterback. And that's what you're seeing from every single team in the league. Whoever doesn't have a real good quarterback, they're struggling right now. Every single team. They're struggling right now.
Yeah, the Jets, too, come to mind when you think about that. All right, Jonathan, thank you very much for your time, dude. We'll talk to you again next week.